Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bring you the best matches, world-class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. My name is Krishna and joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cupbush. Bill, how's it going?
It's going. I have a decaf coffee in my hand. Why decaf, you might ask? Because I've drank way too much coffee recently. So I am on decaf right now. This is an Our Compliments brand decaf from I'm still in Victoria, from the Thrifty's store across the street, I believe. It's not bad. I would not go out of my way to find this coffee. So that's my rating today on the Our. See, I don't work for Our Compliments, right?
That's right. That's right.
I
None
have,
of
however,
the
been drinking Nabob Bold all week. It's pretty good.
what about the Costco coffee? No,
Oh, it's
in
not as good as
Costco.
the Costco coffee, but I don't
Oh,
have
okay,
Costco coffee
obviously.
with me here in Victoria, so you know. But tomorrow I head back to Toronto, and I'll be getting back my Costco brand, Kirkland brand bold coffee again. So all will be right in the world. How's your day going?
Not bad, not bad. No, it's a nice day outside today. We're back to, I guess, normal spring weather and not summer or winter weather. Uh, um, yeah, no rain, sunny day. It's Monday, a pleasant kind of buzz in the city, after and people listen to the podcast think that all we do is trash the Leafs after we trash the Leafs on the first day. Saying tough love, they went out and won 2 games straight, which is good. Hey, you know what? Great. And I'm going to say this once, good on them, but they still haven't proven anything to me. So I mean, like,
I was gonna
listen,
ask you, that I was
yeah,
going to ask you. I'm like,
yeah,
so, because you know me, like Kushman's like, why aren't you watching the game with like, people? I'm like, why would I watch the game? It's not the Stanley Cup finals. The Leafs aren't in the
yeah,
Stanley Cup finals. I've said I'm not watching. I said, if Krishna and them put the game on in the background when I'm over at their place, I
you'll
can't
watch
help
it.
but have it there. That's fine,
Yeah,
whatever. But I'm not going to consciously go out of my way to watch a Leafs game.
no,
So forget it, guys. Not
yeah,
watching. I don't
I,
care if they have like an epic run to the conference finals and get eliminated. I don't care. I
yeah,
don't care.
and that's it, right?
Yep.
I watched the game on Saturday, part of it because I was on my way to my aunt's house on Saturday, and
Mm-hmm.
on the way there, like I was listening to the game on the radio. My niece was with my phone in the back of the car, and the Leafs scored. I heard on the radio. I'm like, oh, good,
Mm-hmm.
good on them. They scored in Tampa. Went in there, they silenced the crowd, and then I hear Tampa scored. And I'm like, oh, it's one of those games. And then the minute I got into the house, the Leafs scored again. I was like, oh, okay, good
Good
on
on.
you,
Yeah.
Toronto. And then Tampa scored again. And then it was like nonstop barrage of shots from Tampa. I'm like, I see where this is going. And then the period ends and Tampa scores. I'm like, yeah, this is what I assumed was going to happen anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, did I have faith the Leafs were going to tie that game? No. When the Leafs pulled their goaltender with what was like a minute something
Yeah,
left,
a minute
I was like,
something.
oh,
Yeah.
this game's going to end 4-2 because this is where Tampa scores to the empty netter, and then the Leafs scored.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Then they went to overtime. I'm okay. So I go, Tampa's probably gonna win within a couple minutes. Again, just
Mm-hmm.
because the last time the Leafs won in a playoff series in overtime, they said was 2000 and it was against I believe it was Washington. So this was in 2015 or something like that.
Oh,
Um,
so it's still in the era
Still
of
pretty relevant.
futility.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It it
it's yeah.
was it was Tyler Bozak. It was the team that went up against Washington that was never supposed to make it to the playoffs because they had
Right.
the young kids and Tyler Bozak scored
Oh, in
in
overtime.
overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I went into the overtime thinking, okay, so when is Tampa gonna score? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's all I kept thinking. When is Tampa gonna score? And the closer they got to the end of the period, I'm like, oh, at least are kind of still there, right?
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah. Yeah.
giving up too many shots. And then the Leafs scored, and I think everyone was kind of shocked. We're like, "What? Who scored? What's going on?" We react like Andre Vasilevsky, the Tampa goaltender. We're like, "What? Like they scored on us? Like I'm sorry, Leaf fans out there who are saying like, we're haters, but it's just from what we've seen so far, I don't have much faith in this team."
I find that the people who call us haters are either people who have absolute other blinders on. They just
Hmm.
there's your ride or die for life. They're the kind of people that, you know, if their spouse was abusing them over and over and over and over and over again, they would be still making excuses for them and saying their spouse was the most awesome person on the planet, right? That's what this is like. It's that those are
Yeah,
those leap. And then there's the young ones who just don't know
they don't know.
victory.
They
So
don't know. Yeah,
they all they know is disappointment. So for them,
yeah.
this is awesome. So is the parade planned already
Oh
downtown?
my
Have the Leaf
God.
fans been planning the
I'm pretty
parade,
sure.
thinking we've
I'm pretty
already
sure.
got the cup in the bag? You know,
I'm pretty sure they planned the parade and
yeah,
stuff like
it's how they
that.
roll,
And yeah, no, I don't
right?
see anything different. I mean, listen, different. It is a different team, different feeling,
Hmm.
but we've had that every year, like different team, different feeling, and same thing happens. So yeah, you know what? Good on Toronto. They went up
Hmm.
2-1. They have another game tonight, which again, by all means, I believe Tampa's gonna win. It's gonna be 2-2 coming back to Toronto. But stranger things have happened in the playoffs. So
That's
you
hey,
know, who knows?
absolutely. Hey, you never know,
You
right?
never
You
know.
never know. Just like we kept talking about, there's no chance CM Punk's coming back to
That's
AEW,
true.
right? You
That
never know.
we were adamant
Hmm.
CM Punk was never coming back,
That's quite
and
true.
now
It's quite
uh,
likely.
it's almost like he's coming back soon, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
this brand split that they're gonna do with the
Yep.
Saturday show versus the Wednesday show.
Yep.
Yeah, I see it. Like I
Yep.
totally see it. So
And that sounds like a good point for us to say today is our weekly show, and we talk
yeah.
about the news of the week today. In addition, Krishna will be giving his, AEW roundup. I'll be talking about Japan, which I'm warning you guys, I have one little snippet on New Japan this week, and then I've got like a mountain of Stardom. So it's Stardom all the time right now. So buckle up because we've got the Cinderella Tournament Finals to discuss. I already released a podcast earlier today, or I guess by the time this post, yesterday on Cinderella. I'm getting all the names. All Star Grand Queendom from this Sunday, just yesterday. And all of my thoughts, my review of the show. So go check that out if you're interested in what happened in one of the most epic shows of the entire year, bar none.
Hmm.
So check that out. And yeah, as always, if you like what you're hearing when you're listening to us, hey, give us that 5-star review. Give us that like and subscribe on Twitter. Hey, subscribe on Twitter too. What the heck, right? Yeah, but yeah, give us that like follow on YouTube. We appreciate every single one of you that tunes in to listen to us. So but we do have some news to discuss. Shall we get into it?
Yes, we do. Let's go.
Hey, you want the biggest news ever, Krishna?
Sure. What's the
Yes.
biggest news ever?
Mel Tier's album is now available on iTunes.
Amazing. I
It is.
mean, I should know this because I've already obviously downloaded the album. So I
And
mean,
listened to it multiple times
yeah,
over. Yes, of
yeah,
course.
obviously.
Yes. No, it's a bit to get, although I have actually downloaded it and listened to it, but what did you really expect?
True.
Um, but to get into some other news, AEW Collision, guys, I think we might have to get used to that
Hmm.
name because that
Hmm.
is reportedly the new AEW show that will be debuting on Saturday. AEW filed for that trademark during their discussions with Warner Brothers Discovery for the new show, as reported in the Wrestling Observer. They report that the first show will likely be the June 17th show at the United Center in Chicago. Meltzer has also reported regarding that soft brand split, hard brand split, whatever the heck we want to call it, reported that CM Punk, Jericho, and FTR will likely be on the new show, while the Blackpool Combat Club and Elite will be the head of the Wednesday show.
Interesting. Um, I think the one shocking part was the Jericho part, right? The like
Mm-hmm.
Jericho is going to be switching over to the new show, and like I mean, I would watch the new show obviously for Jericho because I think he's fantastic. Um, yeah, it's they like I guess they got to do what they got to do to try to appease everyone, and people are under contract, and hey, apparently what I've been hearing as well is like Warner Brothers actually wants this, right? Say hey, they have a network that they can put stuff on, so why
Mm-hmm.
not? um I do feel that it adds like this is good. I actually think this is actually good. And the reason I'm saying that is because I do feel it's going to add a bit of competition to the back room. To who's going to put on the better show? Is it going to be Dynamite
Mm,
versus Collision, right? Obviously I'm a bit biased towards Dynamite because the Elite are on Dynamite, and like
yeah.
all the stories are adding up to the Golden Lovers and Takeshita like forming a group there and going against the actual, I guess they call themselves the Hung Bucks. I don't know what they call themselves. Like I
But
watched Being the Elite today and I was like, all right, is that what they call themselves? I don't, I didn't even realize that.
yeah, but didn't you find that being the elite interesting? The fact that Kenny was completely like, yes,
I,
so what?
well, Kenny was more like, I just thought, and he freezes right when he said,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if he was thinking that Hangman was gonna come save them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he's like, I just thought, and he kind of like, he's still on the fence about Takeshita, but I think all signs are pointing to Kenny, um,
Yeah.
Takeshita, and Kota Ibushi just joining forces.
Yeah, you know how I took that was I kind of thought that the elite was the three of us. That's
Yep,
how I took it.
yep.
And I was like, oh, because Matt and Nick were all like, yeah, Takeshita, here's your shirt, blah, blah,
Hmm.
blah. And Kenny's like, yeah, but I thought the elite was the three of us.
Well, he made that abundantly clear about when they were fighting over Hangman. He's like, why are we fighting over this guy?
Yeah.
Right? Like take him if you want him, take him to the so yeah, he thinks the three of them. It's obviously not. So yeah, they're good. There is friction that's gonna happen there.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was very interesting. I thought it was
Hmm.
very interesting. So I think that could be interpreted a lot of ways. You're right. I
Hmm.
hadn't thought of it from the way you presented it. So yeah, that's very, very interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it was a good episode of being the elite, but
Yeah, but I mean this collision thing, I mean it's obvious, it's almost here. So yeah, great. AEW gets another show. I mean, I don't know what this is gonna do to Rampage, but hey, I mean it's something else.
yeah, I suspect this may be the death knell of Rampage, right? Like just either get rid of it entirely because it's in a death spot anyway on Friday nights. But I mean, trying to draw ratings on Saturday night against everything that's on Saturday nights, like sports and stuff. Ouch.
Yep. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Go Dynamite. But and I mean Dynamite, I suspect Commander, the new Commander is all elite, new signing in AEW this week. And I suspect he's a good fit for that Wednesday show, right?
Yeah, we kind of saw this coming. I mean, Commander's been fighting a couple people recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we saw him against what's his name, Sammy, and then we saw him against Jay White.
Yep.
I thought he had actually better showing against Jay White than he did against Sammy. And yeah, I'm good with this signing. You're right. It's probably uh a good fit for Dynamite, but like I've been again saw some matches announced this week, and I totally forgot about Bandito, right? And Bandito is going to be facing Orange Cassidy this week, so I'm like, what is going on? Like all these guys are just like coming out of nowhere, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like some of the matches announced, like Kenny and Takeshita versus what's it called, Butcher and Blade, right?
Oh
This
yeah,
on
I didn't
one,
even
yeah,
see that one. Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Kenny and Takeshita versus Butcher and Blade, and Orange Cassidy versus Bandito on Wednesday.
I
So
saw the
Wednesdays,
Bandito one.
yeah.
I was
So
like, oh, I guess his visa problems are fixed because
yeah,
apparently he was out for a bit with visa problems. It
yeah.
wasn't.
But I'm
Yeah.
excited. I think the two shows helps because as we keep complaining that AEW has way too many people to tell stories right
Mm-hmm.
now. So maybe the two different shows might help tell some of those stories better. So
Yes,
we'll see.
absolutely. Yep, we shall. But there's no other updates on the AEW front around any of the stuff backstage, so we will move on to other news.
Let's do
Well,
it.
Mercedes Moné of New Japan and Stardom has a new contract extension. She's been announced now for the New Japan Resurgent show on May 21st in Long Beach, California. She announced the appearance actually herself in her post-match comments after All-Star Grand Queendom on Sunday.
Mhm.
There's no word as to the length of the contract extension, but it's very interesting. Like I was saying during the Grand Queendom review, she came across so much better during Grand Queendom. It was
Mhm.
it was the best I had seen her in a ring since she came back. And she's starting to have that kind of authentic, she belongs there feel to her.
Okay.
You know, like her match against Mayu, like it was good, right? It was the kind of match I was like, well, that was good. You know,
Hmm.
like I'm not going to remember much that happened in that match other than Mayu winning the title, but it was good. But what I thought was interesting was how much she's dead. I mean, there was an interview that came out in Sports Illustrated. I don't know if you saw it.
Uh, no, I don't think so.
But yeah, anyway, she said to Sports Illustrated earlier this week, you know, the ultimate goal for, and this is a quote, the ultimate
Mhm.
goal for a lot of professional wrestlers is to make it to WWE. That's what I thought was the big time. But I did that. I wanted to make new history, and the place to do it is here in Japan. Japan has the highest standards for women's wrestling, and I want to set the standard in New Japan. She also said, in the United States, you're told what to do, what to say, how to say it. Here, I'm creating every single moment. I feel so free. I've never been this confident, and it is significant to me because I'm inspiring people to follow their dreams. I'm not even in my prime yet. I'm just getting started. I'm finally getting to create the magic I've always wanted to create. My ideas aren't being limited, and I'm not constantly hearing no or that matches are being cut short. I'm not going to be held back. She also said, this is my new home. I'm embracing the way of life. I'm riding the train. I'm eating the food. I'm not here for a quick second. This has become my second home, and I'm committed to staying here and making history.
Yeah, so I did hear part of this, not the whole thing, like a
Mm-hmm.
couple sentences from it. And I guess it kind of makes sense at the moment. You know what I mean? Like everyone is kind of this whole merger with WWE and whatever, forget the company's
Mm-hmm.
name. Like everyone is saying, oh, Vince is back, Vince is back, Vince is back. If you're Sasha
Mm-hmm.
Banks, do you really want to go back to exactly
Right.
everything you just stated there? Like being told what, like, obviously, well, you have bosses, but like not being represented, the women not even getting any time. And hey, that's actually happened for the past couple of weeks. Like been complaints that suddenly the women aren't getting much time on TV anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all signs point to like Vince being back. So if you're Sasha Banks and you these are the reasons you left, then what are your options? Okay, so I can go to AEW,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where right now she's probably gonna get thrown into like that Outcast versus Thing feud, right?
Right.
Homegrown or whatever you want to call it. Or you can battle for like the IWGP Women's Championship,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think like it just makes sense, right? And hey,
Mm-hmm.
they were able to go and they can afford her, I guess. Bushi Road. The one thing that came up actually recently, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Naomi and the fact that
Yeah, I
what's her
know
name?
where you're going.
Trinity, right? Trinity Fatu.
Trinity
Uh,
Fatu, yeah.
she had trademarked a name, Trinity Star, and
Mm-hmm.
all apparently all signs were pointing, hey, maybe she's gonna join Sasha Banks in New Japan, or maybe she's gonna join AEW. But apparently, with the New Japan, they're kind of like, well, we have certain amount of funds,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Right.
I'm probably thinking she probably asked for some money, and they were like, hey, like, listen, no offense to Naomi, but between her and Sasha Banks, I'm choosing Sasha Banks every single day. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's the person I'm choosing to represent my women's division. So like if you need to pay her the extra money and not have the other person, that's what
Yep.
happens. So apparently that trademark for her for the Trinity Star is now gone.
Right.
So
Yeah, no,
so
because it's not happening. They
yeah.
actually came out and said it's not happening because we need to keep our costs low.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Yep.
go. Right.
Yep.
So it was like, what are her options? I guess she could go to Impact. She could go to AEW. There are other options. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But like if she goes to AEW, she's gonna get thrown into that outcast stable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is that gonna help her? Has it helped Paige? Hey, listen, it's helped. I think Tony Storm is way better than she was now
Yep.
in that stable, right? Like she isn't this goody two shoes person. She actually is a better bad guy than she is that.
Mm-hmm.
It's helped Ruby Soho because hey, she's getting TV time. She's not stuck on Dark anymore, right?
Right.
So as much as I'm not really into this thing, I see the benefits of having it, right? And hey, two shows now. Guess what? You're gonna need not two women's divisions, you know what I mean, but like
Yep.
women on both shows. So this is good. Like I mean, if I'm Trinity Fatu, I'm probably leaning more towards AEW just because I know at least I see how the women are represented here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the best, but I don't think they're getting like the way WWE does it, right? So I'm probably choosing AEW over that, knowing that potentially I may get a shot at certain things, but who knows? Like at this point, who knows? I mean, like I'm happy Sasha Banks staying in New Japan, to be honest with you, because I don't know what she was gonna do anywhere else.
Yeah, and
And
I'm actually
yeah,
happy with it now too,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm starting to enjoy her presence there, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
fair enough.
it was so much more. I don't know. The word's authentic to me when like I can't help
Mhm,
but explain it. It just she didn't feel like, and I think that I was saying on the other podcast, it was.
mhm,
I think that maybe her nerves have calmed a little. She's getting the rust out. She hadn't wrestled in quite a while, right? I mean, her stuff looked a lot sharper
mhm.
against Maya. Maybe she just has better chemistry with Maya when she's not against two like just absolute demons in the ring like Izumi and Hazuki,
Yeah,
right? But no, I mean, she did really well. She hit some moves. I was just like, holy crap, right? Like if
yeah,
I'm going holy crap, you're doing a lot better.
yeah.
So yeah, I was quite impressed with her. Still the match was just compared to the stuff around it, good. I mean, but she's fitting in better, right? I
Yeah,
feel like she's fitting in better. I feel like she's getting some of the mannerisms, the attitude, and she's still playing her boss character, but it's starting to fit,
bit better. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I didn't mind it so much. And I think the fact that she's embracing being there so much,
Mhm,
because I think that's a big part of fitting in into Japanese wrestling is embracing it while you're there.
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I also wonder if the money's why Zaya Brookside is like off doing bookings everywhere else. Like she was one of the original members of Club Venus, but she hasn't been around in ages. And they added all
Mm.
those new people to Club Venus, right? And that are probably substantially cheaper because they're like Australian indie wrestlers and stuff
Oh,
like
okay.
that. So they probably cost Stardom a lot less. But yeah, it's very interesting. Zaya Brookside hasn't been around for ages, probably because she was the most expensive member of Club Venus. So
Yeah, if they're looking at cost, then yeah, that makes sense.
yep, exactly. But that is that. Do you have a dirt sheet for us this week,
No,
Denai?
there was really nothing. I mean, again, because I've been kind of ignoring the WWE stuff, like there really wasn't anything that stuck out to me. I mean, I think every dirt sheet simply just talking about the split in AEW, really, and
Yeah.
no one really has anything confirmed. All we know, as you said, AEW Collision is
Mm-hmm.
probably the name of the Saturday show.
Yep.
How that's gonna fit? Hey, listen, just I know we're back on this topic again, but if CM Punk is as big of a draw as they everyone says he is,
Mm-hmm.
then we will see those numbers on Saturday night,
Yep. Oh yeah, for
right?
sure. Yep,
As you
that's what
pointed
it's
out,
gonna
like
be.
so many sports and stuff like that on Saturday nights, we're gonna see it on Saturday night. So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be interesting. And hey, you know what? If he draws it, Tony Khan, you got yourself a company that can challenge it, like WWE, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with that show because
Yeah.
again, it's in like a dead. It's like Saturday night is like the 9:30 death spot on Dynamite, right? Like no one
Mm-hmm.
cares. Like come on, like you're gonna put the matches there. So I know that FTR is gonna be there, which is great. What does that do to our tag division? I guess you can have them come over to. I'm assuming it's not going to be like a hard split. Like no one's ever going to be able to cross. I'm assuming some
Mm-hmm.
people will go back and forth, but yeah, I don't know. But what are they gonna do about pay-per-views? Right?
Right.
Are they
Yeah.
they're,
No
they're gonna be in the
kidding,
same
right?
building, right?
Yep.
So yeah,
Armed guards. Oh wait, no. If there's armed guards in the building, Wardlow just power bombs them
yeah,
everywhere. It's
exactly.
like
We
he
don't
can't
want
stop
any
himself.
more
Yeah.
like Mark Sterling doesn't want all those lawsuits and stuff like that,
Oh,
right? So
exactly, exactly. So, yep. Now, okay. Well, then that brings us to the AEW Roundup.
yeah, so this week in AEW it was kind of light, like not too many crazy things. Like there were a couple of crazy matches that I just want I'll talk about, and mostly Rampage it happened. But overall, I mean, like if we go to Dark, Pat Buck wrestled on Dark
Yes, he
this week.
did.
Pat Buck versus Juice Robinson. It was a pretty decent match actually. It was just really weird seeing Pat Buck. And again, I wasn't an NXT fan or anything like that. So I never saw Pat Buck do much of anything, to be honest with you. So watching Pat Buck wrestle Juice, it was a pretty good match.
Yeah.
Like you can see Pat Buck actually can wrestle. He's in great shape. Like I was
Hmm.
like, oh, good on you, man.
Right.
So Pat Buck did a pretty good job. I mean, he obviously he wasn't going to beat Juice. Like that's obviously what's going to happen.
Can you
But
imagine?
like but he did a good job, and it was okay. It was okay match. I mean, I'm not going to say it was anything like crazy special, but it was an okay match.
It's notable
Um
because Pat Buck wrestled it,
that's
is
that's
what you're
why I was
saying.
just
Yeah.
shocked that Pat Buck
Hmm.
wrestled. I was like, why the heck is Pat Buck here? Like the weird part is like I'm looking at some of the matches this week and listen, ever since the Mox podcast, when he was on sessions with Renee,
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to watch Marina Shafir wrestle, right? I've been trying. I'm not seeing it, man. Like Mox, I get it. I get it. I
Mm-hmm.
totally get it. You see something. I'm not seeing it yet,
Right.
right? Whatever it is, I'm just not seeing it yet. So
Right.
whenever that happens, I will admit I'm wrong. Oh my God. But when you see those wrestlers who clearly are not wrestlers, they're like UFC fighters and stuff like that, and you're like, they just look. I know what they're doing is technical and it's probably correct. Like this takedown is awesome, but in a wrestling ring, it doesn't look right. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
these are the things that kind of bother me a bit. But I'm like, I'm willing to give her the benefit of that because she does listen. If there's one thing, she consistently is on dark and stuff like that at wrestling. So I'll give her that.
She's getting her reps in.
So
That's for
exactly,
sure. Yeah, but
exactly. So
I just to toss this out there, you
yeah.
mentioned the UFC fighters and their stuff,
Mhm,
looks technically good, but
mhm.
Siri has a 6-3 record in UFC. I'm
Oh,
I'm just saying. She was the first Japanese
there you
woman to
go.
win a UFC match.
Well, there you go. So that's one thing. There you go. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and one of the best wrestlers on the face of the planet.
fair, fair. And I mean, like even on Dark, I mean they had what's that guy Cole Carter, and he
Hmm.
was fighting too. But like they're trying to, I see what they're doing. They're trying to push storylines on Dark too. This is gonna be
Hmm.
tough because like again, we talked about this when you try pushing storylines on Dark and on being the elites and on Dynamite and now on Collision and Rampage. Like those are way too many storylines you're gonna keep going, and then people are just not gonna be able to keep up with it unless you have like vignettes and show everyone what happens and
Hmm.
stuff like that. Because we always say like, why are these guys fighting? Like, why are these two
Yeah,
here, right?
exactly. Yep.
Because I don't know if you heard about Zach Clayton, Bill, but he's
Oh, I'm aware of
he
Zach
yeah
Clayton.
yeah. So Zach Clayton approaches Cole Carter in the back
Hmm.
room and kind of gives him the eye and says, you're a new up and comer, just like me. And Carter's like, I get what you're saying. So I'm like, wait, are these two joining a team? Like Cole Carter just goes from one thing to the next, right?
Yeah,
And
but
I guess
Zach
they are.
Clayton, he always beats up or deserts his tag team partners because
Yeah,
they don't live up to his
but
standards,
but
right?
that's it. But the problem is that I feel like he does that. That was like one of my points. I
Hmm.
feel like he's doing that because he's looking for that next person, and I think he's Cole Carter is that guy he's looking for because Cole Carter is talented, like
Right.
talented young guy.
Hmm.
So and listen, Zach Clayton's freaking hilarious.
Oh, I
I
love
like
Zach
him. He
Clayton.
always
Yeah.
always beats up his tag partners. Um,
Stop
but like.
it.
I think so one of the matches on Elevation was it was Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, was it Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy? Yeah, Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy. But no, it wasn't them. Never mind. Never mind. That match is something else. But jumping over to Elevation, um, Emi Sakura versus Mizuki. Now I don't know who Mizuki is because
Oh
I've
my God.
never
Did you not
watched.
listen to me the other week when I was talking about the main event that I gave match of the week, I believe? Was I give it match of the week or was that the week that Kenny kind of outdid it? But it was like
You
that
gave
they were my Yuka Sakazaki was my wrestler of the week. Her
yeah, yeah, yeah.
opponent in that match was Mizuki.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even know. I didn't make that connection because
Yeah.
I know that Mizuki is the tag team partner of Yuka, right? Are they
Mm-hmm.
tag partners?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So
They
that's what
are
they
long-standing
mentioned.
tag best
Yeah,
friends. That's why
they
this match
mentioned.
was so
Oh,
hard and
this was her.
emotional.
This is her.
That's
Oh,
her.
because
You
she
got
did
it.
a stomp from the top rope outside. Like so, she was outside.
Hmm.
So Emmy was on the ground outside, and she just stomped from the top rope to outside. And I was like, holy crap!
I
Like,
know.
like even
Yeah.
the fans were like, holy shit! Right?
Hmm.
It was pretty impressive.
Hmm.
Did well. Of course, Emmy Sakura wasn't going to take the pinfall here. Like obviously that's going to happen. So Emmy ends up winning, but very, very good match. I thought it was a very entertaining. Um, it was really weird, like because hey, they gave Mizuki a full on entrance and everything. They had the main event on Elevation. They gave her the full entrance. I was like, okay, so I'm like, this girl must be good because they're giving her a full entrance here, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was a good match.
Hmm.
Other notable things. I mean, the Renegades were on Elevation again. Great. They're just so good. Like I always bring them up. They're a really good tag team for the
Yes.
women's AEW division. Which if you look at the AEW women's division, most of the people are just thrown together. Right,
Hmm.
these two are legitimate. Like, I'm not sure if they're actually sisters or whatever, but
Right.
they say they are. But they're really good. The Renegade twins, right? So and they're not really. They don't. I mean, I guess they could be twins, but they don't look like identical twins, whatever, who knows, right? But no, good match by them. But again, if you're looking for matches to watch, like Emi Sakura versus Mizuki, that's a good one. Rampage, quick shout out to Jeff Hardy. I don't know if you saw this. Jeff Hardy said he's retiring from messing up his life. So I was like, good on you, Jeff.
Yes.
Good on you. Like I gave an applaud to that, because I'm like, you know what? He understands he's made mistakes, and I think he wants his last run, because they've been talking about that. Like him and Matt wanted a last run in AEW, and they wanted to actually mean something, and not go out like what had happened previously. Right. So I'm cheering for Jeff Hardy. I'm hoping that he's actually I believe he is. I believe he is battling those demons, and I think he is doing better. He looks better. I mean, that Swanton he did the other week, like that was great. So shout out to Jeff for kind of bringing that up. Again, they were having the whole conversation in the ring about the final deletion. I think I don't know what they're calling it now.
It's the firm deletion.
The firm deletion. Yes. Yeah. So it's gonna be like 8-man tag team, right? It's gonna be in the Hardy compound. Matt has promised on a podcast, he said there are going to be special guest appearances. So I'm just curious on who he's going to bring out.
Oh, it'll be his wife. It'll be like Senor. Who's his gardener?
Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember his name now. It'll be his gardener.
Remember when Gangrel showed up at the deletion thing? You're like, is that Gangrel there? It's like, but
this could be epic. This could be seriously epic.
Listen, I never thought I would like the cinematic fights, but ever since this, and ever since the elites, what did they call it, the battle at the stadium stampede, like I love those. They're so ridiculous. They're so ridiculous. So I'm looking forward to this. Another something else notable on Rampage, Julie Hart versus Kiera Hogan. It was an okay match. It didn't last long. It was like 3 minutes. Here's the weird thing, and here's what I'm talking about with the women's division. Anna Jay comes out and starts fighting with Julia Hart. Yeah, I know they have some beef going, whatever. But they're both bad guys.
Yeah.
Why are they fighting each other?
Yeah.
Like I literally went down. Why? Like I get it. They had a wrestling match. Maybe they want. Is there no one else they can fight? Why are they fighting? Why are the bad guys fighting each other? I don't get it. I don't get it. And then the final match. I mean,
I was waiting for this to come up. Yeah.
Vikingo versus Dralistico. Wow, what a match! Like, Dralistico, I've never seen him wrestle like this. I guess because now he's part of the La Faction Ingobernables or whatever. So yeah, he's fantastic. Like he's so good. That move he does, I forget what he calls it, with the armbar thing where he takes you down. Like people were saying, oh my god, that's like his finishing move. Like they're like that couldn't work. I'm like, do you see how vicious that thing looks? And he takes you down. I'm like, I think he calls it the mist. I don't know what he calls it.
Oh, La Mystico.
La Mystico, yeah. Where he kind of like he does. It's like a
that
drag.
Move is an amazing
move. It's crazy.
Azumi does it.
But does she really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. But yeah, this match was fantastic. This match, like it wasn't just your regular kind of like high flying. All we're gonna do is like luchador style of wrestling. Like this match was a beatdown on Vikingo for a while. I was like, man, they're gonna kill this guy. I'm like, they're not gonna change the championship. He's defending the AAA championship, right? I'm like, they're not gonna let him lose the championship on Rampage. on Rampage of all things, Rampage. But fantastic match, which could have been on Dynamite, and could have been match of the night on Dynamite any night of the week.
Especially given the Dynamite we just had.
That's my point. And I guess that's why they're splitting them and they're having.
Can the Acclaimed go to the Saturday show? They're big ratings draw guys. They need them on the Saturday show.
They would go yeah, why not? But looking at this, I'm like, Roosh, Dralistico, and I guess Preston Vance. I mean, like they're a great team there. I really like them. Like they're a really cool like bad guy team that you just like cheering for because they're so slimy but they're so good. Oh my god, they're so goddamn good. Vikingo, like, damn, this guy. I like the Canadian Destroyer outside on the ring apron. I was like, So he killed Dralistico just now, is what he
Yes.
did, right? He killed him. The Canadian Destroyer, which I have to point out, which he jumped off the top rope to do the Canadian Destroyer on him.
Adam Cole, eat your heart out.
Oh, oh, oh. Um, Amazing. I thought this match was absolutely fantastic. I thought these two guys are so good. I'm like AEW, like, wow, you're booking like these are great matches to book. Stop booking your trash you've been booking recently, right? These are like amazing matches. And hey, Wednesday's show looks like it's building to something more.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you had to check out one match this week from AEW, besides obviously the matches of the week that we said from Dynamite, I would say by all means check out Vikingo versus Dralistico, because again, Vikingo is on another level. Like hey, like him, I count him, Ray Phoenix, Dralistico, I guess, what am I forgetting, Bandito, like
Mm-hmm.
these are the
Commander.
top Commander. Listen, my only problem with Commander is that one match where all he did was run around the top rope. Okay, that's the one thing. But as I said, better match against Jay White,
Mm-hmm.
way better match than Jay White. And it's the thing, Commander right now, I think, and I haven't seen that match that was on the Ring of Honor card, which everyone is
Mm-hmm.
is ranting and raving about. But to me, right now, Commander is great, but he's not at a level as those other guys
Right.
until he proves me wrong, and
Right.
I know he
No, I
will
see. I see what you're
eventually.
saying. I would
Yeah,
tend to agree with you.
right.
He's not a bandito. He's not a Vikingo.
No,
Yeah.
no. And he's not a Ray. He's not. I was gonna say Ray
Ray
Mysterio.
Phoenix.
He's not
Yes.
a Ray. Not even Ray Mysterio. He's not a Ray Phoenix. That's
Mm-hmm.
definitely not that, right?
Right.
So yeah, if you can go out watch it. This match was great. I love these two guys. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did. Because I'm like, oh, I see where this is going. Just like LaFaction and Grenab, they're just gonna interfere the entire time. But when these guys were going, whew, it was quite the match. So yeah, that was
Yes.
my like my favorite match of those three shows that I saw watch this
Oh
weekend.
yeah. It took to me. It was the AEW match of the week. If I had to
Yeah,
pick an A, you notice I'm going
yeah.
to qualify that though. It is my AEW
W.
match of
All
the
right.
week.
No, I heard you. I heard you say
Yes.
that. I heard you say AEW match of the week. Okay. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah. Yeah. No. Those are great. I have yet to see the Emi Sakura
It
match.
was good. It was really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
But I mean Mizuki. Oh my gosh. She's the princess champion. Right.
Oh, they didn't did so okay, so Paul White and
At least I think she
Angelo
still has the
Parker.
belt.
She must be. Paul White and Angelo Parker were the one obviously on the mic, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know if Paul White said it or not, but it was I think it was Angelo Parker.
Hmm.
I keep saying Angelo Parker, but Matt Menard. I'm really meaning Matt Menard here. But Matt Menard was like ranting and raving about her. So I'm gonna say that maybe it's it's
She's not only the current Princess of Princesses champion, she's also the Princess Tag Team champ with Yuna Sakazaki again. They just won it 13 days
they
after she
they
won the
didn't
other
even
title.
announce that.
Yeah, that's
So that's why
unfortunate.
I didn't like all they said that she was part of DD. What is it?
DDT?
DDT wrestling?
Well, yeah, I mean, TJPW and all, they're all under the same umbrella of the Wrestle
Yeah. Okay.
Universe, right? They're
Okay.
all kind of like they're a collective group under
Got
Wrestle
it.
Universe that has Noah, DDT, TJPW, Gato Move,
Yeah.
bunch of them. So yeah,
Okay.
okay. I find it kind of surprising though that she actually got pinned by Emi Sakura with
Yeah,
that
she got pinned by
pedigree, right?
Emi Sakura. It
Yeah.
was more of like
Hmm.
it wasn't like a clean kind of like, oh my god, she beat her down. It
Oh,
was
okay.
more like a surprise roll up. You know, the most devastating
Hmm.
move in sports entertainment, the surprise roll up.
It was not the Kishi Kase.
But yeah, no, it was a good match.
Yes. Okay. Well, that brings us to the Japan report. And I did promise most of this will be on Stardom, but I do have a quick New Japan update to start with on the US title tournament that, involves a certain Will Ospreay. Well, there's no word yet on if Tanahashi will be ready to face Ospreay on May the 21st. The winner of
Mhm.
that match would go on to face Lance Archer on June 4th to become the number one contender for Kenny's title, as we all know. What I found interesting was this week in the Wrestling Observer, it was
Mhm.
reported that the winner of that match is expected to face Kenny Omega at Forbidden Door. So we may actually, instead of it being shoved off to Wembley Stadium, we may be getting Kenny Omega versus Lance Archer at Forbidden Door.
Yes. I can't wait to
Because
see
we all
Kenny
know
Omega
Lance
versus Lance
Archer's,
Archer.
yeah, he's totally beating Will Ospreay, right?
Well, yeah, yeah, I mean, like, didn't what's that guy's name? Ryan Nemeth joke that even Kenny Omega can make Omos look good, and
Yes.
then everyone paused and they shook their head. So
Exactly. Um,
oh,
well, this brings us then to the Stardom report. I might as well just start calling it the Stardom report, right?
you
Because
should.
it kind of is. An update on Momo Kogo's injury from Grand Queendom. I promised everyone on that podcast I would try to find out more before we did this show.
Mhm.
And she was, for an update for those of you who don't know what happened during the opening Stardom Rumble that they opened the show with, she was injured. I wasn't even sure how at the time, but she was taken to a hospital during the Rumble yesterday. There is no update yet on her condition. It looks like the injury happened when Mai Sakurai landed her diving 360 leg drop on Momo and actually kind of landed her butt on her head.
Oof,
Yeah,
like concussion
it
style stuff there.
yeah, it's
Oh
probably a
no.
concussion, which is extremely unfortunate. She's looked really good recently and was just starting to get involved in more storyline. And it was against Club Venus. So, I was looking forward to this, right? But yeah, it when I looked at the
Wait,
replay, I was
wait, Bill,
just
before you
wow.
continue, but you
Okay.
love Club Venus though.
No, I hate Club Venus.
I'm
I
pretty
thought
sure
I
in your
thought that was made
podcast you
clear.
said you love Club Venus.
No, no. I mean, did you not listen to my bit on this one where I was talking about Tekla coming out with Club Venus? And dude, they literally came out to Tekla's theme music. She has like hardcore metal as her
Okay.
theme. Okay, so they were three members of Club Venus, not Mina. Mina had her title match, but the three members, Xena, Jesse, and Mariah May, came out with Tekla, and they were going up against Oedo Tai. Okay, and they came out to Tekla's music. I'm like, well, man, they look so much better coming out because then they look kind of like a gang coming out together.
Yeah.
But then Club Venus stops on the top of the ramp and does their dance to Tekla's music. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, stop. Oh.
Well, I mean, the Japanese word karaoke does mean tone deaf, right? So who knows, Bill? Who knows?
I'm not tone deaf. You're the one who thought that Mina Shirakawa's music was okay.
I said it wasn't as bad as Tony Store's music,
Which
and
in
I'm
that sense,
standing by
you
that.
are wrong. But what I do have to report on today is the Cinderella Tournament semifinals and finals that happened, I believe, on April the 14th, 15th, 15th. Let's go with 15th. I can't believe I cannot remember what day they happened on, but they were up on Stardom World and I watched them now. So I'm here to report what happened. Waka Tsukiyama and Mai Sakurai had the first semifinal match. Waka dominated most of it. She hit a bunch of solid moves on May, a tornado facebuster, straight jacket slam, and she's capable of winning matches now. So it's not like a gimme that someone's beating her.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she almost got her with a dragon bridge and a reverse on a facebuster slam. I bid on both of those as near falls. Waka kicked out of May's diving elbow, but she slammed her, did the diving leg drop, the one that injured poor Momo.
I
Short
know.
but decent. I'm glad May won. She'd be a good heel for whoever, and I put this down at the time. She'll be a good heel for whoever wins the Mirai and Ami match. But of course, May got a mic and called Waka a worthless representative of the common people who will go back to being a third-rate common wrestler tomorrow. And everyone came here to see me win the tournament, and when you see me as Cinderella later, your hearts will pound madly. I love her new aristocratic Japanese woman shtick. It's pretty great. And then we had Ami Sohrei taking on Mirai in the other semifinal, and this opened as what I expected. It was just hard hitting. They felt each other out, but Ami got the upper hand with lariat, shoulder tackles. I mean, they were smashing each other, right? I mean, they both got a lot of their stuff in. Ami got on the high angle Boston Crab. Mirai countered her next run with a fallaway slam, machine gun chop. The machine gun chops they were delivering to each other were just vicious, right? Like vicious. Um, Springboard twisting senton for two by Mirai. They pulled out a lot of stops too. They did stuff I hadn't seen them use too often in their arsenal. Ami countered Mirai with a pinning Death Valley driver, and just all kinds of good stuff in this, right? And they went back and forth. The end came. Ami landed a vertical suplex. Mirai came back with three running lariats for a near fall. She then landed one more lariat and wrapped her up for a pin for three. It was a solid match. I give this 3 3/4 star. There was a lot of good hard hitting stuff in this. Ami looked like an absolute powerhouse, and Mirai looked absolutely unstoppable. Solid match for the semifinal. So that took us to the finals, and it was Mirai taking on Mei Sakurai. And Mirai offers a shake. Mei accepts it and then hits her at the same time, and they're off exchanging forearm shots. Mei dropped Mirai with a big boot, sending her out of the ring, bashes her head into the apron, hits a running drop kick on the floor for running her head into the ring post. Mei runs at her again, but Mirai counters. I mean, they go back and forth for quite a bit. Mirai lands a reverse STO at one point, goes for a pin. Mei counters and locks on the STF in the pin until Mirai reaches the ropes. There was a lot of really good stuff in this match. Mirai hit her airplane spin Death Valley driver, which just looks crazy. The end eventually came. They were fighting from their knees to standing after, they Mirai had package slammed, avalanche package slam Mei off the top rope. And then they fight back to their knees. Mei pummels Mirai into the mat, repeated forearms, but on a run for her, Mirai nailed a huge lariat. But on the pin, Mei reversed into a Mahi straw cradle for a huge near fall. I bid on that one. I'm like, well, she got her. Nope. Because, Mahi straw cradles pin a lot of people in Stardom. Mei hits another facebuster for 2, but then Mirai hit another lariat, then a running lariat for 2. She then hit the airplane spin Michinoku driver for 2. And finally, she goes up to the top and she hits the diving crossbody, the move everybody does, and gets the pin. It's like she pinned her with a diving crossbody. Good
You know
job.
what? Not many people win with diving crossbody, so good on her for trying something new.
Well, right, and it's not just that. It's like it actually means if they hit once in a blue moon, it's gonna pin
It's gonna
someone.
work.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it goes, oh, so people actually can be pinned by this move. Okay, I was surprised by the finish, but really good match. May looked amazing. So some of the best I've seen. But I mean, Mirai, oh my God, she just looks unstoppable right now. Like so many big moves, so quick. She got her second straight Cinderella title. I'd give the match 4 1/4 stars. They shake and hug after the match. I don't know if I'm reading into things, but Ami Sarai was at ringside supporting Mirai, and there was a little bit of a look in her eye. Now, I don't know if it was jealousy or not. I'm not saying they're going anywhere. They did, as a tag team, defeated BM or not BM 7 Up at the pay-per-view to win the tag team titles. So they are now the tag champions too. So Mirai is both the Cinderella and the tag champ. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I could be completely wrong, but there was one more match from that show I wanted to highlight, and it was actually the final match on the show. It was Donna Del Mundo. It was Julia and Maika, Himeka, and Tekla taking on Cosmic Angels, Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, Mina Shirakawa, and Saki in a 2 out of 3 falls match. This was you'll like these. I had to talk about this because it's part of the Himeka retirement tour as well.
Of course.
Dude,
Of course.
her retirement match happened at the pay-per-view.
Oh.
Yep. Her against Maika. So she has one more match as like a tag team, but this was her last match in Stardom. And then her retirement ceremony is on May 14th.
Okay. All right.
Yes. But this match was her last match fighting as a member of Donna Del Mundo with her team. So anyway, Julia, though, I mean, I'm just going to go through the match quickly because it's the aftermatch stuff that's the big deal here. So Julia pinned Nakano with a Northern Lights bomb for the first fall because Julia and Tam Nakano faced each other for the red belt at Grand Queendom. Okay. Right. And if you've read the spoilers, you know what happened. Yes. Tam Nakano is, in fact, your red belt champion, which absolutely floored me. So if you want to see my notes sometime with the block capitals WTF just happened. Yeah. Anyway. But then Tam Nakano pinned Julia in the second fall with the Twilight Dream, giving it kind of like a 1-to-1 each. The challenger and champion both got a pinfall on the other as part of this match. So that was kind of a cool setup going into the pay-per-view. And then it's Maika won the third fall, pinning Natsupoi with a Michinoku driver. The match was really good. I mean, it was a solid showcase for the main event at Grand Queendom. But it wasn't that. It was the after-match shenanigans and stuff that I wanted to highlight here because it is interesting.
Okay.
After the match, Himeka said goodbye to the group and she'll always love Donna Del Mundo. And then Julia addresses Cosmic Angels. So she gets a mic and she goes, I'm not going to tell you to disband. I don't care if you break up or not. That's not what this is all about. It's about you, Tam. I will never forgive you. You won't take the belt from me. You can't take anything from me. I'm going to throw you to the bottom of despair. This is the last time we'll meet. And she's done. They leave to Julia's terrible new music. So Tam then looks beaten and disheveled, right? Cosmic Angels are just sitting in the ring. Tam grabs the mic once they're gone. She turns to her group and she says, Cosmic Angels will never break. I mean, she's like screaming,
Mhm.
okay? Like just, it's almost like desperation screaming. And she goes, Julia, I know it's none of your business. In the meantime, you have 1 week left with the red belt, so polish it up. She throws the mic down, looks at her squad, takes Natsupoi by the hand, and they go to leave. But Mina Shirakawa grabs a mic and she says, Tam, today I'm leaving Cosmic Angels. The same way Tam has an important friend next to her, Natsupoi, I've made important friends in Club Venus. Boy, is she wrong. Anyway, as the leader of Club Venus, I want to be as big and warm as you are as a leader. But with you, I've always been spoiled. I want to cut out the pampering and be a fighter. Club Venus will be independent from Cosmic Angels. Thank you. I love you. And then Tam just collapses to the ground crying, then gets back to her feet and she looks and she goes, Mina, we promised the Cosmic Angels would have the white, red, and artist belts. I mean, she's sobbing. Like the performance here was incredible. We made a promise. And then Mina says, that hasn't changed. I'll win the belt. We'll all be champions. Then she turns to Waka Tsukiyama, who was like one of the support people at ringside, you know, like one of the people who's there to like provide the water and catch people and blah, blah, blah. Right. And she goes, Waka, what about you? And Waka looked like such a deer caught in the headlights. The audience laughed. Like she was just like, what? Why are you like putting me under this pressure right now? Right. It was pretty great. And then Tom turns and goes, Tsukiyama, you'll stay, right? And Mina goes, I'll put no pressure on you. Make the decision on your own. And Waka, after a long pause, turns to Tam and goes, I love Cosmic Angels. Thanks to everyone in Kazan and Tam, I got my first victory. I will always love you, Tam. Thanks for everything, but I'm out. And Tam looks devastated. I mean, devastated. She just backs away from the whole thing, like her hand over her mouth, right? And Mina takes Waka's hand, bows to the audience. She leaves with Waka and the rest of Club Venus that was at ringside as support. And so Tam's just like in the ring. Natsupoi goes over and hugs Tam in the ring. Tam's just sobbing, right? Saki joins them. Natsupoi says to her, I'm sorry we lost today. I'll be by Tam's side. Don't cry. And then Sorry Anna, who is she's returned to Stardom very, very recently, wandered over to ringside and just staring at them. I love her demeanor. Like she almost looks like that like almost expressionless. Like you've got to really watch her eyes and the corners of her lips to get the expression off of her kind of person. Like just like very I don't know how to put. I just love it. It's so good. But she gets in the ring and she goes Natsumi. She always calls Natsupoi Natsumi, and Natsupoi yells back at her Natsupoi. Right. She gets in the ring and she goes, Tam, how about me? I'll hold it together with you. And she holds out her hand. Tam accepts it. All four stand together in the ring. Natsupoi smiles. Sorry is somewhat expressionless as she always is, but she's like head patting them and stuff. So Tam looks like she's trying to recover, and they all leave together and then turn around on the ramp and they're all looking a lot better as they walk off now as like Saki's colors unit is still part of them. But the main unit of Cosmic Angels was devastated and reduced to 3 people. So not a good outcome for Cosmic Angels. But as you guys know, if you've either listened to the podcast or seen the results from Grand Queendom, they're holding all the they got the artist belts and they got the red belt. So they did exactly what they said they do. And well, then so did Mina though. So
Yep.
anyway, I thought that was worth talking about because holy crap, was that a dramatic moment? I mean, it was so well done. I mean, I wasn't bored. I was completely entranced during this whole segment, going, oh my God, what's going on right now? Right. Like just watching Cosmic Angels implode. It was like, holy crap. Like you kind of knew this day was coming, but it was just so well done. Right. And you don't usually get these really extended talking segments in Stardom. So it was kind of cool that this was there. I would recommend checking this out. I think it was well worth. Well, the whole match was good, but it's well worth it. So yeah, if you're checking out anything from this, I'd say the final match between May and Mirai is really good. Ami and Mirai is worth checking out, and so is this. So yeah, those are my recommendations from it and some updates from the world of Stardom. And that brings us then, and like I've said before, if you want to check out Grand Queendom, go listen to the other podcast, meaning our other podcast, not some other podcast. You can listen to some other podcasts too, but I would suggest you check out our. Anyway, match of the week, Krishna. Match of the week. What do you got?
I'm going with as you kind of spoiled it earlier with saying AEW's match of the week was Vikingo versus Dralistico. Yeah, these two guys, I think, as I said, on any Dynamite, this would have been a match of the week. And it really was. Like it was on Dynamite, it was on Rampage. Not the exact match I thought I was gonna get, but that's not a bad thing. That was a good thing. They surprised me, right? Like, hey, I'll make fun of it till he proves me wrong. But what is his name? I'm blanking his name. The rope walker. What is his name again?
Commander.
Commander. Yeah, until Commander proves me wrong, that match did not impress me. Because the Commander match was like, I thought he was gonna walk on ropes, and he did over and over and over again. This match surprised me because there was so much interference. There was like there was a beat down. I was like, no way they're taking this title off of Vikingo, and they didn't. But these moves were so good. Like they hit hard, and they're both so good that yeah, there was no way I couldn't. Like I thought about it. Then I thought about Dynamite, and I'm like, no, this is still better than the Dynamite matches. So yeah, match of the week: Dralistico versus Vikingo.
Nice. No, it was a really good match. Like, is it my AEW match of the week? Except for the fact that we also had Stardom Grand Queen, and there are 2 5-star matches on that show.
Ooh.
One of them was one of the easiest 5 stars I've given out in a long time. It wasn't even a hesitation. Saya Kamatani taking on Mina Shirakawa for the Wonder of Stardom Championship, also known as the White Belt. Just briefly, it wasn't just the moves. It wasn't just the fight. It was the drama coming into it. The whole story about does Saya have the confidence to hit the Phoenix Splash?
Yep.
Right, because that's what took Mina out in real life, and the way they built, and the Mina spitting the black goo on her at the press conference, like just out of her mouth. It was like she leaned over and just spilled black goo out of her mouth all over Saya's face. Right, like this is what you did to me. Right, and it was so, like the drama before, but then in the ring, Mina targeting the knee, it was perfect. And the way Saya sold that knee like a champ for the entire match, like everything, because her whole offense is based around her legs, her whole offense, right? It was just so well done. Like the way they built the match up, and Saya, the first time she goes up, can't hit the Phoenix Splash, right? She froze, and Mina was able to get her off throats. The second time, she finally gets up there, screams, hits the Phoenix Splash, and Mina kicks out. It's like, after all that, right? And just their back and forth, near falls. It was such an absolute masterpiece of a match. Absolute masterpiece. If it weren't for Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, this, I think, if I go back, this would have to be at this point my number 2 match of the year. I'd have to go back and look at all the matches we've chosen, but this is definitely easily top 3. Easily top 3. There can't be more than 2 other matches that was better than this match. So good, and just the ending so well done. Mina gets the belt, and Saya put the belt on her. Right, she put the belt on her, congratulate her, and then was just like bawling her eyes out, being helped to the back by her teammates. Right, like it was just the way they keep the drama, and that's what I think is so special about Stardom. The emotional level you get in a lot of these matches. I mean, you don't sit there going, well, that was a good technical wrestling match, right? It's also the way they build their stories. It's like, holy crap, that was an emotional, like there's moments I have to pause after a match and go, whoa, okay. Right. But anyway, so that was my match of the week: Saya Kamatani versus Mina Shirakawa from All Star Grand Queendom. What a match! A very close 1B was the Julia versus Tam Nakano match. My other 5-star match. So
nice.
Anyway, that brings us to Wrestler of the Week, Krishna.
So I mean, even though I gave match of the week to Vikingo and Dralistico, I am gonna choose Wrestler of the Week from the Jungle Boy and Sammy match. Because I thought that both of these guys are just, again, they're just so fantastic. And hey, I was really worried about Jungle Boy's bump he took that day, but you assured me that it was safe and everything like that. So I'm going to give Rest of the Week to Jungle Boy because I think he's just so good at what he does, and it's day in, day out. So I've never seen a bad Jungle Boy match. If you think about it, like I don't know if you can think about a bad Jungle Boy match. So I thought about that. I'm like, you know what? I've given Sammy Wrestler of the Week before, so this week I'm gonna give it over to Jungle Boy.
No, it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, right? So yeah, good choice. My wrestler of the week is not going to either of the person in my match of the week either. It is going to one Tam Nakano. I mean, she was in the other 5-star match,
Mhm.
wrestled her ass off in it, but no one in this past week of the stuff I watch, everything from press conferences to the Cinderella tournament, that scene at the end of the
Mhm.
Cinderella tournament finals, to this match and getting the belt, and just no one showed more heart, determination, wrestling, storytelling, all rolled into, like, she's the Kwai of the cosmos. What more can you say, right? It's she is amazing, and her performance this week was superlative. I don't know how else to
Mhm.
describe it. So I mean, because it was all around. It wasn't just the in ring. It was the personality. It was the promos. It was the emotion. It was the heart. It was just everything, right? Like the way that she just convincingly played kind of like the leader who assumes people are going to do what she does and then just falls apart when it's breaking down around her. It was just so well done. So, she gets my actor of the week and wrestler of the week in the same week. So,
Nice.
so yes, Tom McIndoe, my
And
wrestler of
and
the week.
and a shout out to Britt Baker. I didn't realize this happened because
Mm,
I must have missed it. But during the beatdown that occurred on Wednesday night when they were
mhm.
beating her down with the candlestick, apparently she started calling out Adam Cole's real name. I didn't catch it. I didn't
Oh,
realize. Yeah, apparently they were saying on the podcast they're like they made it real, right? When she started
mhm.
calling Austin out, and I was like, holy crap,
Oh,
she
I didn't
called his
even
real
notice
name
that.
out.
Oh, that's
Same.
that's
So I was like,
wild.
good on them for making
Hmm.
this match or this I guess segment, whatever it is,
Yep.
feud, what it is, because now it's kind of personal, right? So I'm
Yep.
like, okay, that good on Britt Baker for doing that. But yeah, um, I guess you watched some pretty good wrestling then this week.
Oh yeah. I mean, and speaking of kendo shots, man,
Mhm.
sorry, Anno. She had a pin on when it was during the Kyrie, sorry, and Natsupoi. They formed a team called
Mhm.
Restart, right?
Mhm.
And they won the Artist of Stardom Championship from Prominence, or the hardcore specialists, right? But Sarah had a pin on Suzuki, and Riza Sarah broke up the pin with a kendo stick to her stomach because she was
Oh
arched back on a
no.
jackknife. I mean,
Oh
you could see the mark
no.
across
The
her
welt.
navel. It's
Uh,
just like she wailed on her with the kendo stick.
oh
It's like,
no.
holy crap, that had to hurt. But and obviously it did because she had the mark. But
Yeah.
anyway, yes. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay right now, right?
I already I know that already. That's why I was like, hey, I said it. I did. I said that I
Hmm.
think Tampa Bay's gonna win today, so
Yep.
not like I should be surprised about anything. So
No, quite true. But we'll see.
it's
It's only 1-0, right?
only 1-0. That's
Yep.
true.
I'm now going to go and not watch the game. So but that means it is time for us to get out of here. And as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody. Mwah, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.